Good morning, everybody. The audience seems quieter than the speakers. I'd love to see a bunch of youngsters throbbing. Can I hear a really strong good morning? Good morning. Yeah, IIM T, are you feeling good?
Yes, sir.
Students, are you feeling good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The MC was very nice. She read out a nice, I don't know who gave you the script, but thank you. It made me feel good. My mind goes back to 1986. Same date, it was 23rd June, when I joined campus, IIM Calcutta. And I think I can quite appreciate how you must be feeling, because at that point in time, I did have a lot of excitement, energy, enthusiasm, stars in the eyes, as they say. And of course, a touch of arrogance, right? Because you've come through a very grueling process. You have probably left behind 3, 4, 5 lakh aspirants, probably 300-400 here, and all the IIMs put together, maybe what, 5,000 students in all the IIMs. So you guys are in a very specific and a privileged space, and all the speakers before me did talk about how you are in a privileged space, how you are in a wonderful campus, and you have to make the best of it. So let me add to that. Firstly, say congratulations and compliments for being here. And I'll also add, I'm a little jealous that I wish I could have a restart all over again. Firstly, thank you, Director, and all the folks in the dais for inviting me here. Such an honor to be here amongst a bunch of bright young students and share some thoughts. Now, I have this probably a unique situation today that I studied at REC Trichy, then REC, now NIT Trichy. And then I went to the IIM. So Trichy and IIM, probably that's why Gopal decided to invite me here today, right? When I went to Trichy in 1979, that's 45 years ago, India's GDP was less than $200 billion. Per capita, India was less than $200. When I went to IIM in 1986, India's GDP was about touching $250 billion. And per capita had moved up to somewhere close to $300. I remember in IIM Calcutta, the first week after going away there, Gopal said, "Mummy," of course we all did mummy then also. I wanted to call parents, right? In those days, you all have a click of a phone, you can speak to whoever on a video. In 1986, that was a luxury. All we had is one solitary booth in the remote corner of the campus, and the calls were reduced rates after 10 p.m. in the night. So we had a huge queue to make a trunk call to call our folks. This is 1986. Cut to 2024. India's GDP is kissing $4 trillion. Per capita at about $2,500. And you're all living the new India. All the speakers before talked about the unique opportunity India has, challenges that India has. As much as we are the top 5 economies of the world, probably at purchasing power parity, maybe in the top 3 economies, we are restless, right? We are restless and we should be. Now the narrative is about India at 100. How it will be at 20, 25, $30 trillion, pick the number, growing at compounding at about 7-8% GDP every year. Net zero by 2070, the influence of technology, a host of other, hugely networked, digitally, physically. It's a promise. It is a remarkable opportunity, and that's why I say many of us wish we were writing our careers at this point in time. And you should all be supremely excited because you are charting your careers in this time. The Prime Minister often calls it the Amrit Kal. Whether it's Amrit Kal or not is not the relevant point, but you are writing your careers, your chapter in history at a time when India is, give or take, $25 trillion in the next 20 years. It doesn't look impossible. But I just want to point out what Abraham Lincoln said in 1861. The dogmas of the quiet past are inadequate in the stormy present. I'll only make a slight difference and I'll say the dogmas of 2024 are inadequate for the future 2030, 2040, which is what all of you are going to be. So I want to suggest to all of you that everything that you read, see, hear, will learn on campus are all useful, informative, but keep at the back of your mind an obsession and a need to be restlessly dissatisfied in a happy manner. And I wish the MC had mentioned, if there's one thing that I want to remember, I want everybody to remember about what I would say is, I am happily dissatisfied. We accomplish a lot. We can be happy about it, but never satisfied, because the moment you are, game over. And many of you as your bright young students, I'd encourage all of you to think about how you remain happily dissatisfied constructively, because then you are searching out the next best one. If this journey that you are, you've come to one of the best campuses, IIM, I am sure when you leave the hallowed portals of this campus 2 years or 4 years later, you'll be masters of your chosen domain. MBA teaches you a great technical domain expertise. However, experience has taught me over the years that is good, but it's only necessary but not sufficient condition. To be leaders, to be thought initiators, to be specific agents of change, which I'm sure all of you are dying to be, there is that element of humane empathy, ability to understand an ecosystem, plug into it, sometimes stay out of it, sometimes stay inside it. That's both an art and a science. I think that doesn't come in classrooms. Right? That comes in, I think, when the professor spoke about how you do it amongst your peers, through the ecosystem that you are in. But over the next 5-7 minutes, I'll try and talk to you about what I believe experience has taught me. The one thing about management, and I'm sure you'll face it over the next 2 years, every speaker will come and give you acronyms, AAA, 4 Cs, 5 Ps, because that's how management is taught, right? Through using of acronyms. I'm not going to be very different, I will also use something, but I just wanted to point out, those are useful, but at the heart of it, it's about trying to engage, trying to understand the ecosystem. And those of you who are fanatics of sport, and I encourage all of you to be, even the game between Afghanistan and Australia, did you all watch it?
Yes.
And it is a clincher. And of course, that Australia got beaten by Afghanistan was really satisfying. Right? That it was nemesis, right? They lost the game when Maxwell got out, I was seriously happy. Right? But anyway, cricket we'll come back to. Just almost every week for the last, not almost, every week for the last 8 years, I harass my team with a weekly post. Whether they like it or not, they have to read it. Right? I borrow from any life event, speeches from anybody, and try to make maybe like a 4-paragraph blog, which the nice employees of mine put thumbs up, makes me feel good. But when I said I must come to IIMT and have a session with all of you, I reflected on what do I say, right? To a bunch of bright youngsters, because you're going to hear me, and you've heard 3 speakers before me, you heard 500 speakers after me, but something that should stick in your mind. So I went through all my 300 plus posts, and I picked up 4 themes that I will sort of not elaborate on it, but I'll touch upon them, and hopefully you'll reflect on it and you'll remember it. And like Federer said, did you all hear Federer's speech at Dartmouth? Like he said, if you ever see me 20 years later on a street somewhere, come up and tell me that you remembered what I told you today, right? So let me begin. I have this habit of, I believe in the Japanese philosophy. I think they have wonderful constructs, and often very crisp and very, very instructive, and in some sense, a life lesson. The first one that I picked up was something called Ichigo-ichi. Have you heard of Ichigo-ichi? No, let me explain. Ichigo-ichi is about owning the moment. Be in the moment, own the moment, ensure that you are present and making the best of the moment. Right? Now, why am I bringing this to you at this point in time? Like in sport, like in profession, like in life, we often, like John Lennon said, right? Life is what is happening to you now, but we keep thinking about the life that will happen later. Life is what is happening now, but we keep creating the future. I would encourage all of us to think about how you are in the moment. Federer in that speech talked about it's just a point. He said, when you are playing the point, just be in it. When it is over, move on because you have to win the next point. Whether you won the last point or lost the last point is not as significant. But you need to win the next one. So be in the moment, and I would encourage all of you to think about Ichigo Ichi as a life guiding principle. Because this 2 years is in many ways life defining, life changing. For me, it was life changing in many ways, other than the fact that I met my wife on campus. And so it truly changed my life. But I did hear our earlier speaker talk about how your peer group is so important, how your networking on campus is so important. After 40 years, if there's one WhatsApp group that I will stop anything for and do is my batchmates. Nothing matters more than keeping sure that contacts work because it has taught you so many things, not classrooms, and it's not at work, but it's what brings you the best. Ultimately, we do everything. Everything all of us do is for self-worth, feeling good about yourself. You wake up, you want to feel good, right? Everything else, your bank balance, all are important, but I'll tell you, the feel good about oneself is the ultimate high that any of us can get. We do everything for self-esteem. You want somebody else to look at it, hey, you're doing a good job. Right? You do it for that. So let me cut back. I would think about owning the moment, ensuring that you're in the moment, be the best version of yourself in the moment. It's what I'd say is Ichigo Ichi. Now moving on from Japanese, I'll talk about Latin. And the other thought I want to share with you is a Latin phrase called Inveniam Diem. Have you heard about that? Inveniam Diem? Okay. I hope you will remember what I'm saying, but anyway. Inveniam Diem is about find the way or create the way. Make the way or create the way. Now, all of us are great jugaad specialists in India. We get things done. I remember many years ago, I'm an obsessive cricket fan. Steve Waugh, in my earlier job, Steve Waugh was the ambassador for the private bank of my earlier bank. And I had the chance to spend some time with him. And he narrated to me an experience which was still stuck in my head. He said it was 1986. He was debuting in that year, 1985 or 86. His first game was in Calcutta at Eden Gardens. He had heard so much about Eden Gardens and he was like excited, like any other youngsters, to play in Eden Gardens. So he visited Calcutta, the stadium, the previous evening. It was a ruckus. There was nothing. I mean, just the stadium was there, the chairs were strewn around, the place was dirty, completely unclean. And he said to himself, this is the most celebrated stadium in the world. And he went in. Next morning, 9 o'clock, they come to play. The stadium is in ship shape. Everything is in order, and he starts playing the game. He says, this is your country. So I said, that is Jugaad. We make things happen in the last minute. All of us. I'm sure when you were taking the flight or the train to come to Trichy, till the previous night, you were like searching for the sneakers, the jackets and stuff like that, running to the tailor to get it. But we get it done. The last moment, things happen. Now, find a way or make your way. Right? There are hundreds of stories, but it is about that nuance thing, that extra zing in that. You know, those of you who are Iron Man fans would know how Tony Stark makes his whole first Iron Man suit by metal waste, right, in a cave. And I can give you many more examples of Invenium Diem, but I'll tell you, think about the first thing I told you, Ichigo Ichi, which is owning the moment, Invenium Diem, which is making sure you are creating the way, creating the path. Finally, it rests about mindset, right? All about mindset. We as, you as bright youngsters who come to the management program, for sure thinking about, I've come here, I deserve the best. But you know what? You're amongst 400 people who are thinking like that. And another 4,000 and another bunch of IIMs who are thinking like that. You were good till you came in here, but you're going to be tested all over again. Your peers were good where they came from. Now you are in a new environment. You're all going to be tested amongst yourselves again across the spectrum. Now nothing is an entitlement in life. this Satya Nadella, in one of his speeches, talked about mindset and how he shaped Microsoft after listening and reading a book by a lady called Carol Dweck on mindset. And there they bring out the distinct difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Right? Fixed mindset is about entitlement. It is mine. I own it. It's got to come to me. Sorry, that days are over. A growth mindset is about entrepreneurship. It's an obsession. It's an obsession to continuously stay relevant. Like I always say, every learning has an expiry date. However good you learn. What I learned in campus in '86, what I learned much later, is all, it's probably extinct. There's less relevance. Every learning has an expiry. I need to refresh it. Like Alvin Toffler, the futurist, said, right? The definition of illiteracy in the 21st century is not that one who can't read or write, but it's the one who doesn't learn, unlearn, and relearn. All of us, whether you are 22, 65, whatever, need to learn and unlearn and relearn. That journey is almost paramount, and we need to keep focusing around learning, unlearning, and relearning. You heard about 15 minutes of my rag, so let me try and trim it down. So I spoke about the three themes: Ichigo Ichi, Invenium VM, and mindset, right? Let me just only close out with one more theme. Is think like a farmer. Think like a farmer. Now what does that mean? A farmer has high seasons, low seasons. He's often at the mercy of weather. He can't predict the weather, he can't conquer the weather, but he can prepare for it. Right? Technology and experience has taught people how to deal with it. But it cannot change the weather patterns. And in the new world we are in, the whole climate changes that are happening are materially altering all our predictions. When I saw the monsoon predictions in the beginning of May for calendar 24, they had predicted a very strong monsoon. Stock markets went up. Right? 10 days back, June is dry. Most of India is still dry. Delhi is blazing. Right? Kerala, where I live, is not seeing the same kind of rains that it should be seeing by June. Now, whether it will change in July, I saw a prediction that it will. But it's never in your hands. But what happens to the situation, how you play the pitch, how you play the conditions, how you alter yourself, how agile, is your choice. I keep using many books as a reference. There's this very nice book called Zigzag Theory by a guy called Rich Christensen. Do try and take a read of it. It's a bunch of explanations on how this road to success is never a straight line. Right? So I just refer back to this think like a farmer is about agile, being alert, being aware of the situation, constantly readjusting to the challenges around us. So folks, those of you who have been attentive, those of you who have been listening, you may have figured out that the first letter of the four themes I spoke about, Invenium VM, Ichigo Ichi, the order Ichigo Ichi, Invenium VM, mindset, and think like a farmer, is IIM T. Right? And IIM T is your famous four-letter word in your life. It is your calling card to success. It will make you successful if you truly believe in that, live up to it. So let me wish you all the best. Go win the game, blaze new trails, all the best, and be a proud IIMTian. Thank you.